You don't always have to be fasting.
Yeah.
It's just a tool.
I hate the last 3 months of the year.
You're just attracting positive energy into your life. It's crazy.
It must be the way the body really optimally works, period. Joel Staley. What's up, man? How are you?
Pleasure to be here, Larry. Thanks for having me.
It's good to see you and your abs back again. I literally just, oh shit. Really? Dude, I didn't know we were gonna get like some ab like selfie on the, but those of you guys are watching it on YouTube, don't show that to your wives.
I stay ready, man, just in case.
Just in case. I love it, man. Well, hey, I know you've been on the podcast a few different times. We've talked about this topic of fasting and all kinds of benefits that go with it. I think the last couple of times we really hit upon the health benefits of it, which the autophagy and cell recycling and anti-aging and just all these really great benefits of just giving yourself a break from digesting food. I think I've used your really cool, I think it's explanation of this and I would love for you to explain it. It's like the body and the digestive tract, and it's almost like just cleaning your living room of your house. But can you explain that one as we open the show up?
Yeah, we have 3 daughters, and the best way, the analogy that I like to think about it is, say Amy and I clean the playroom. Say the whole house is a mess, but we go up, we clean the playroom, and then we go down to start attacking the living room. We start cleaning up, so we kick the 3 girls out of the living room. They go back into the playroom, and they make a big mess. So then we clean up the living room, playroom's a mess again. Then we put them in the basement, we clean up both, and then we go downstairs, and now the basement's a mess. It's because they're constantly just creating their little mess. Whereas if we can say, all right, we're getting the daughters out of our house for 12 hours or 18 hours or 48 hours, and they're going to go stay at grandma's. And now we can detail this entire house without having to worry about the progress that we just made over here getting undone right away. And that's our digestive system, where it's not meant to constantly be running. It's meant to be like, if you think of any appliance or really anything, like you're not supposed to run your stove 24 hours a day, 365. Like it should be turned off and reset and cleaned and recycled. Scrub those the little grill in there, make sure it's clean. It just doesn't make sense to expect from an evolutionary perspective that we need to eat every 3 or 4 hours and track our calories and macros, which there's guys that do that, and I think you should do it at first to understand kind of what you're putting in your body and whatnot. But you and I were talking before the show. I just got a message this morning from a guy who looks great, but he's got 20 pounds of belly fat he hasn't been able to get rid of with his previous methods. I'm like, dude, fasting is the key. We'll walk you through it. We'll teach you, show you the ropes. And he's worried. He's like, man, I'm so used to getting protein every couple hours. There's this, I've been programmed to like need it. And I feel weird if I do a 24-hour fast or a 48-hour fast. And taking that same concept just from evolutionary perspectives, it doesn't make sense that you would get weaker and more lethargic the longer you went without food. Because that would mean, let's say we're getting berries from the top of the tree, for example. If you're starving and you don't have the strength and stamina to climb up the tree, you're going to starve out. You're not going to be able to survive. You're not going to be able to hunt. But as you and I know, because we've been doing this for years now, what actually happens on that day 2, 3, 4 even of a fast is your strength goes up, your human growth hormone gets jacked through the roof like 2,000%, testosterone goes up, and then you get these cognitive benefits where things just seem sharper and you're able to focus more. Now, I don't know about you, but anytime I do a 72-hour fast, I'm like dialed into the person talking to me. I'm like almost worried I'm creeping them out because I'm just hanging on every word that they say. I'm just focused. And it makes sense to me that our hunter-gatherer ancestors would, if they haven't eaten in 2 or 3 days, and they're out trying to find a deer or a elephant or whatever they were hunting, that they would have to be sharp as a tack, they'd have to be reserve their strength, and that we would use this stored body fat as fuel. I mean, that's why it's there.
I mean, a couple of different things here. Number one, the eye contact and being dialed in. So you were actually at my house over the past. It was about, as we're recording this. It was a week ago. So I hosted this. For those of you guys who don't know, I didn't talk about this on the podcast at all, but I hosted an intensive for 7 guys to come out to my house, and we spent half the day at my house on the 2 days. So the mornings, and then we went out and did really fun things. Like we did some jujitsu, and we did some had a night out on the town, and then we did some more grueling work the morning of, and then we had some fun in the afternoon, and it was good. But that is one thing that both me and my wife noticed about you, was that when someone was speaking to you, or if it was me, you had this intentionality. And I don't even know if you were fasting or not, but like you have like this intentionality about you where I don't know what it was like, but I noticed it big time. I was like, man, he like hardly ever breaks eye contact. Jessica even noticed that too. She's like, when I talked to Joel, like I felt like he was like really listening to me. I was like, I think that's because that's how he operates. I was like, I actually noticed the exact same thing. Like even when I was talking to you guys in a group, some people were like in their journals, or some people were like might check their phone here and there, whatever. But you weren't. You were like just dialed. So like, I don't know if that's a fasting thing or seems more like a Joel thing.
No, I think it was more of a Larry and Jessica and everyone else that was their thing, is because I went there to learn. I hold you guys in very high regard, and the knowledge you were dropping and your wife was dropping and everyone was just sharing. I was dialed in and I wanted to make sure that I absorbed every bit that I could. So I actually was not fasting. You had too many good first form protein bars and beef jerky and trail mix there that I was like, we're going to consider this a vacation, even though it's a level up in our mindset. But
Yeah.
I was far from fasting. And that's another thing, is like, you don't always have to be fasting.
Yeah.
It's just a tool.
Yeah.
When I was there and I was dialed into you doing your seminars and teaching us stuff, I didn't have a 30-pound dumbbell in my arm and I wasn't doing curls. It's like, that wouldn't be appropriate. So if I'm with a bunch of other guys and we're bonding over meals and we're sharing with each other and pouring into each other, we all went to dinner that night. Like, wouldn't made much sense if I just sat there and watched you guys eat your burrito tacos and smash burgers. So I ate. I even picked off Nick Stewart's plate. I was eating his fries when he went
I
to the
saw that.
bathroom. He'll tell you all about it.
I saw that.
So
I
it's not,
actually
that's
saw
just
that.
another misconception, is like,
Yeah.
oh, I got to miss out on all these special family dinners and client dinners. And it's like, no, you work it in when it makes sense, just like anything else. And that's how it is in the long term, sustainable for a lot of guys.
That's what I do. That's what I mean, I've been doing this protocol now since January of 2022, when you first started helping me with the bodybuilding show with me and Mason. And it's been actually really, really convenient. Like I usually fast on Mondays because like I'm podcasting all day long. So it's like back to back to back to back, very busy day. And then normally on Monday nights, we have like some sort of practice. So I go right from work to one of the kids' practices. Like it's actually easier for me to fast on days like that because I'm like, I don't even really have time to eat today. I don't even want to stop and try to make something. It's so busy. So yeah, strategically inputting some of these fasts, where it actually makes sense is actually extremely helpful. I really want to get to now that I've been doing this for almost 3 years now, and I've really taken this really interesting approach to your program and Fraser Bailey's program. So, which is, he's the vegan bodybuilder who was just on a few weeks ago. But what I do is, like, when I do break my fast or I'm eating, the only difference that I do is I eat the rainbow, right, of vegetables and clean proteins. And sometimes I use a plant-based protein, sometimes I don't. But like it's really just whatever that meal is or meals throughout the day, when I'm breaking that fast or not fasting, is just like really dialing in those micronutrients, which has helped me tremendously. But the thing that I didn't expect, Joel, is because it goes against like what I learned in college, like almost 25 years ago, because I got my degree in exercise phys and nutrition. is, well, you can't possibly build muscle if you're doing like a fasting type of protocol. And here I am almost 3 years into it. I'm the leanest I've ever been. If I'm not competing, I'm still that lean, and I'm the strongest I've been in like over a decade. Like I'm benching and squatting and deadlifting more weight than I have. And granted, that's my goal. That's what I'm really dialing my workouts to do right now. But I'm just like, how in the world? Like I did legs last week and I was fasted for 36 hours and I was PRing leg presses and squats. And I was like, I wouldn't have thought this was possible. Maybe it's a mind thing, right? But like I'm so fascinated. What does the science say about actually putting on muscle when you're doing a fasting protocol?
Hormones are vastly overlooked when it comes to strength and muscle. I don't know what it is. People put this huge emphasis on protein, which it is important. They put this huge emphasis on supplements, which might make up 0.5 to 1% of your overall results. Creatine, which I think everyone should take creatine. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to hurt you unless you go crazy with it. However, you'll see guys, and maybe you even know one that's gotten on TRT over the last few years, and all of a sudden their strength goes up, they're in a better mood, they look better, their fat's burning off, and they really didn't change anything besides the fact that they optimized their hormones. And that's all fasting does. It goes back to your digestive system is not supposed to be running 24/7. If you give it a chance to realign itself and get to where it's supposed to be, that's when the human growth hormone gets jacked up, very muscle sparing, if not muscle building. That's where the fat melts off, which is only going to increase your, the hormones we're looking for to build muscle. The testosterone, like I already mentioned, it's massive. That's going to be way bigger than getting 1 gram per pound of body weight in lean protein or supplements or any of that. You're just optimizing your hormones, which is massive. And unlike, I know you're a big 75 hard guy. Actually, I think, are you wrapping it up right now?
So I'm doing 100 days and today is day 90 as you and I are recording.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you're a beast, dude. I've tried 75 hard 4 or 5 times. I made it to day 40 and I found out we were having twin girls and I was like, all right, that's it. I'm pouring a whiskey. I did all I could do. But it's
I,
very different fasting because instead of asking yourself, what more can I add to my schedule as a career driven father with countless things on my plate and endless responsibilities already, now I got to work in 2 workouts and I got to figure out how to get a gallon of water and I have to read 10 pages of a book and all great things. Don't get me wrong, but that is the standard question is what else can I add to what I'm already doing to get the result I want? And I've really hit a season in my life where I'm asking the counter question of what are some things I could actually remove to give myself more time in my day to simplify my life a little bit more. And for me personally, it's fasting. Like I don't want to break my work day into 3 or 4 or 5 segments, waste my Sunday, my day off with my family when we could be at the farm or going to see a movie or going to the park to just meal prep and plan out all my meals for the week. I want to ask myself, what are the little hinges that are going to move big doors for me that are actually going to simplify my life so this is something I can stick with and it not just be another thing to worry about that I may not be able to get to that day or the next day.
so, I mean, basically with fasting, the increase of strength and basically muscle tissue improvement is due to the hormones that are a direct effect of fasting in and of itself.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. What types of, so let's just talk about HGH. So human growth hormone. I know when you're in a fasted state, and you got to forgive me, like you're the expert on this, but I know that there's clinical research out there that shows HGH levels and the percentage that they increase over, a fasted time. I don't, do you know those markers? Like, okay, like if you fasted for 24 hours, this is usually about the percentage. If it's 36, here's a percentage of 48, here's 7. Do you know those?
I know the ceiling. I don't know the floor per se, but it's up to within 48 hours to 72 hours. It gets jacked up to 2,000% its normal level, which is just absurd. I
Is
mean, that's like as much as I imagine Dwayne The Rock Johnson taking just externally. That's a lot of HGH, and it's your body naturally producing it just to preserve muscle. I don't know. I don't want to start any debates or get theological. I believe we have a creator, and I think our bodies are these magnificent, like beyond what we can even fathom. So yet again, to think that we need to constantly get 30 grams of protein every 3 hours or we're going to wither away, when actually the opposite is true. If we can just stay out of our own way and let our bodies do what it was designed to do and eat when we're actually hungry, not when like our blood sugar's crashing because we had oatmeal or whatever for breakfast. We just stay out of the way and let our body realign and fix itself and optimize itself. It's insane how much we just kind of mess things up when we try to get creative and move the needle for ourselves.
Have you noticed like that hunger thing? Have you noticed that so for instance, when I started, as you know, I've been doing 75 hard, and that's something that I did just a little different for this like evolution of 75 hard. And I did it with my fasting protocol. So I still fasted once a week. I still OMAD, which is one meal a day usually during the week, and then during the weekends, like I would eat, I would eat normal, like I would eat in like an 8 or 10 hour window. Um, but one thing that I noticed, especially when I'd open up my eating window, is there was that logical side of me and complete illogical side. Like, and I'll say even like instinctual primal of what my body actually wanted or needed it versus what I thought. Right. So I can't even tell you like how many times, like on a Saturday or Sunday during this, it's like, okay, my eating window's open. And then I kind of like just sit there and be like, I'm actually not that hungry. Like maybe I just won't eat right now. I'm just going to listen to my body. And to be honest, I just looked at it as an experiment. I'm like, I'm just going to listen to my body and just see what it needs. Right. And there were days, and like I was training for a half marathon and stuff like that, where I was like really hungry. And I would listen to my body, be like, I'm going to eat a little more today. And I wouldn't eat reckless and I wouldn't eat carelessly, but I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to have 2 extra cups of rice with dinner because I can tell like my body needs some carbs. Right. Or I would be like, you know what? Like I feel pretty good, but like I could use some satiety, some fullness. I'll add some avocado to this, some extra fat. Right. But I did that. I didn't. So here's what I did over the past 75 days, and my results were really, really good, which was I didn't eat when I thought I was supposed to. I ate when my body told me it was ready. And it was a really interesting sort of experiment because, like I said, at times where I would resist eating more, I allowed myself to eat a little more. And in times where I felt like, well, I should be eating right now, but I'm not hungry, so I'm not going to. Just it was a very interesting experience, just allowing my body to take the lead and to see what it does. And the results were really, really good. But I also ate very sensibly when I did, if that makes sense too.
Yeah, it's a good chance to get realigned with your actual satiety and hormones and distinguish between, okay, I had a bunch of carbs a few hours ago, and so now I'm crashing. We've all been at that point. How can I possibly be hungry right now? Like I had a huge breakfast or a huge lunch, and it's yet I feel that grumble in my stomach that I need to eat something. And typically, when that happens, chicken breast, that doesn't sound good. Steak, that doesn't sound good. You know what sounds good is like a cheeseburger from Wendy's. It's never, that's how a lot of the times you can tell too, as you're dialing this stuff in before you've allowed fasting to get you dialed into what your body's actually craving. Is like, do I want scrambled eggs right now? No, I don't want scrambled eggs. But I would take some pizza though. It's like, then you're not, if scrambled eggs don't sound good to you, you're not hungry. You just want to go eat. And a lot of that is just your sugar crashing and you want something greasy and processed. And you're just forever in this cycle of cravings every few hours. And it's another thing. I mean, I hate to just talk about all the benefits of fasting, even though I could be here all day. I've mentioned on the show before, I have an addictive personality. And whether it's alcohol or nicotine or pornography, or there's really no vice that I haven't gone toe to toe with over the last couple of decades. And being able to abstain from any specific vice for 1, 2, 3 days at a time and just see that I can do it and build some momentum. First of all, creating that space makes it a lot easier to step away and have an objective look at like the destruction you're actually doing to yourself. But also, it can be very tedious to say, let's use drinking for example. Okay, I'm never drinking again. It's like, wow, that's a big feat when you've never even gone a few days without drinking. But if you can say, you know what, I'm going to separate myself from drinking for the next 48 hours or the next 72 hours, maybe I'll have a whiskey then, see how I feel. But being able to create space between you and these vices has been probably the most valuable thing that I've ever gotten out of fasting, even though it's my livelihood and it's allowed me to stay single digit body fat for a long time. I know that if I can just put some space in between me and whatever demons are in my life, I can ultimately overcome it. And the pizza, the chicken wings, the bad food choices is the exact same thing. When you create that space and you say you're starting a new, you want to go plant-based or carnivore or keto, I've heard a lot of very smart people recommend starting with a 48-hour fast or a 72-hour fast, and it is just this reset of sorts. And that way you're not battling all those cravings that, I mean, we can try to white knuckle it for 10 or 15 minutes, but ultimately you're going to succumb to it because they're strong cravings, man.
They are. And, I would actually, this is something that's really unexpected that is kind of emerging for me as we have this conversation. So I've been, doing this protocol with you for, like I said, almost 3 years. And I actually embrace it. I look forward to it. I like it. And I kind of forget like how it was tough to get used to for the first couple months. I will never forget my very first 72-hour fast, and I had never even come close to something like that. I think the most I ever did was 36. And I'll never forget, it was in January. We were about 14 weeks out from our show, and I was having a date night with Jessica. And I was breaking my fast on our date. And she was really intrigued by the whole thing. And she's like, how do you feel? Like how do you feel like right now? Like, are you like beside yourself, like starving, like freaking out? Like, what, like, do you feel sick? Like, what? And I looked at her and I go, I feel unbelievable right now. I was like, the first 24 hours were hard. I'm not going to lie. First 24 hours were hard. I was like, then I woke up the next day, and I had been fasting now for almost 36. And I was like, wow, I was like, I don't really feel hungry. In fact, I feel really good. Like I feel really awake. I feel really alert. And then it was the next day I was like, and I told myself that day, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do 72 hours. Like, and I went to bed that night without eating and I woke up the next morning and I felt even better. And I was like, but here's the crazy thing. I felt very alert and very aware. And I'm not talking about caffeine or anything like that. And I just was like, I told my wife, I was like, I feel insanely in touch with everything that's going on. I say, I know this sounds, and by the way, I don't know if this is true or not. I was like, I feel like I can see further out of my peripheral vision, even. Like I feel like I'm more attuned to my surroundings. And I was like, I don't know if that has anything to do with me being like this primal, like hunter gatherer, like I'm on the search for food right now and I'm going to get it come hell or high water. Like maybe that's what's happening, but that's the way I feel. And she looked at me, she's like, wow, really? You feel good? I was like, I feel unbelievable. Like almost to the point where I don't want to break this fast and maybe go one more day, but I'm going to break it anyway. But yeah, I'm curious. Like, is there anything to what I was feeling?
That's what I was saying on day specifically 3. Day 2, day 1's always the toughest. That's why when somebody
Yeah.
says they're doing 16/8 or they've done 24s before, I always make a point to tell them it's going to sound very counterintuitive, but you're doing the hardest part for the least amount of results. You wake up in forced ketosis 36 hours in. Day 2's way easier than day 1. By
Yeah.
day 3, you feel like there's some sort of electromagnetic force field around you and you're just attracting positive energy into your life. It's crazy. It's weird. But no, it's far from being just you. That day 3 is a phenomenal feeling. And I've described it as the sky just seems bluer. I feel like the birds are all singing for me. It's almost like one of those like Bambi where just like the squirrel comes out and it's like, "Hey Joel, hope you have a great day today. You're looking like a stud." I'm like, "Thanks, squirrel. I feel like a stud." It just seems like life is awesome.
Oh my God, dude. I'm totally gonna picture that now. I might be sending you like, gifts of like, Bambi and stuff like that. But no, I mean that does make a lot of sense. And but I am curious with the vices thing, because originally the road that I was going down by describing all this was something that really unexpected happened for me, was exactly that. It was that mental toughness. It was like, and over time, now that I've been doing it for 3 years, like I said, I embrace it. I look forward to it. It's like, it's almost like it's actually easier for me to live this way. It's actually harder for me to go back and do the other stuff that I was doing. Um, but I've noticed that the the mental toughness has dramatically increased. I'm like, if I can go 48, 72 hours without food, like I know I can get over this. Like if I'm tempted by like porn or something, I'm like, huh, I, I can go 3 days without eating. I definitely can go 10 minutes without porn. You know what I mean? And then you just get away from that temptation, that vice. And like I have noticed that this fasting regimen has created like those reps, and like Goggins, he calls it like the cookie jar, right? Like, I'm like, oh, I did it again. I did it again. I did it again. Look at that. You just like prove to yourself over and over again that you can do some of these tougher things.
Yeah, a mistake I've made in the past, and I've even made it on your show before, is I'll say, like, I'll just get frustrated because I do feel like I've tapped into a miracle cure of sorts that so many guys could benefit from. And I feel like I've done about as good as I can do, just screaming it from the rooftop saying this works. And then I'll send an email to my list of 55,000 guys and say, like, guys, fasting works. This guy got these results. This guy's shredded for the first time since college. This guy's having sex again with his wife after who knows how long. And I'll have like one or two guys schedule a call at most, sometimes no one. And a lot of times it's easy and it's wrong, but it's easy for me to be like, man, just no one cares and these guys suck. And like, I'm being kind of a DICK. I know it's a friendly show. And one big takeaway I got from meeting up with you and the other guys last week is, man, a lot of guys are in a lot of pain, for one. I'm not really, I'm not tuned into maybe this guy's working 18-hour days and he's not checking his emails, or maybe this guy's going through a divorce or he's lost his business, or like everyone's going through something right now. And it's not everyone is going to be A, checking their emails, or B, it's not going to be the right time for them to attack their fitness goals per se. But also, what you were saying is I tend to forget, I've been doing this for about a decade now, and I forget like some guys have never done a 36-hour fast. And to them that sounds daunting. And they've tried every other diet in the playbook. Maybe they've subconsciously thrown in the towel. And so it's easy for me to be on my high horse and be like, guys, I don't know. We've had 1,500 clients. We have endless testimonials. Your favorite podcaster's been doing it for 3 years. He's still crushing. Like, he's vouching for me. What, like, where's the disconnect here? But I need to remember and have a little bit more compassion that as you're getting started, if it is a completely foreign concept to you, then it is a little bit scary and it seems a little tedious. So I'm making a conscious effort to meet guys where they're at, because like I gave you a winner circle hat when I came and dropped down. A guy in my winner circle program just completed a 30-day fast.
Wait,
Like,
what?
30-day fast.
There's no way.
30-day fast.
Wait, I thought you die after like 21 days. Is that not the case?
Not the case. Not the
What?
case. And I was just kidding with him on like day 29. I'm like, hey, we're going to push it. This was all on its own accord, but we were doing a monthly challenge. And I said, all right, to win the monthly challenge, you got to go another 5 days. He's like, bet, I'll do it. And of course, I didn't have him go an extra 5 days. I'm not that sadistic. But I'm around these guys a lot. It's probably the key. It's my superpowers. I surround myself with these high achieving guys, and they're fasting, man. They're lifting weights. They're waking up early. They're being more intentional to play with their kids. They're snuggling their wife at the end of the day. They're like, these are things that we're actively doing, and I forget that outside the looking glass, there's some guys that just aren't there yet. And I need to be able to eloquently talk about how to get started so they can start seeing that hockey stick of results in their life later on. So that's what I really wanted to come in here and do, and give some tactical, maybe like if you've never done a fast or you've never hired a fitness coach or you're just completely lost and it feels like externally everything's kind of going downhill, what are two or three things that you could do that are going to just get you some momentum, at least in your fitness goals, so it trickles out into everything else?
So, I mean, I got to be honest, man. Like, I I have never heard of anybody going that long without food, without like with serious health issues. Like, how did he avoid that?
Dude, he's a crazy person. His name's Ben Shed Lionheart, we call him. He's been with me, Winner Circle, since day one. He did a 21-day fast about 6 months ago at the beginning of the year. So I guess more than 6 months ago, about 10 months ago. Feels like 6 months ago. And then he reached out to me last month and he goes, dude, I think I can do another week. I want to do it 28 days. I'm like, 28 days. And then he got to 24 days or 25 days and he goes, man, I feel like people are going to think that I meant to go 30 and I only went to 28. So I'm just going to go ahead and do 30. And man, it's not like he was laid up in bed or being medically supervised. He was hitting workouts at 5 a.m., 5 days a week. He still works a full-time job. He is just a mind over matter legend. I've never gone more than 7 days. I don't recommend people go that long, but it is just a testament of, it seems like there's a separation happening where the people that have been in the self-development space for years and years and years now, and we're continually trying to level up, we're gaining a lot of ground, and there's guys that haven't gone down that road at all yet. And it's easy to be like, dude, what are you doing? You're leaving so much potential on the table. But I'm trying to do a better job at being more compassionate and knowing that they probably have some struggles behind the scenes that I'm not weary of. And instead of like attacking them for not booking a call or doing a fast, it's like, hey, here's some breadcrumbs. When you're ready, when you get fed up of the way things are right now or the direction you're headed, like, go this way. And like, come on, we'll get there together.
Just out of curiosity, you said this guy's name was Ben who did the 30-day?
Yeah, we call him Lionheart.
Well, yeah, you have to have a lion heart to, I mean, that's next level. Like, I'm saying I've never done more than a 72. I've never done a 96 or a 120. Like, but 30 days, that's crazy. What kind of results did this guy get over 30 days? I'm just curious, both like physically and like just what was some of the feedback you had along the way?
He lost 32 pounds, and this is not like a 300-pound guy. He did the Shed Fat Fast program years ago, and he's been with me ever since, just dialing things in and being part of our community. But I mean, this guy's before after picture. Usually we have like 90-day before after pictures, and they're pretty significant. They're drastic. But this guy's been applying these principles for 2.5 years now, and he looks like, and I say this with all love to Ben, I've said this to his face, not behind his back. His before picture, he looks like a fat, drunk, homeless guy. Like you would see this guy and you'd be like, honey, let's walk on the other side of the street. This guy might try to snatch your purse. And now he looks like a physical specimen. And he has rewired everything. He's I have a picture here I can send you. Or you could post it maybe in the show notes. I don't know, your call.
Yeah, I
Best
would
way
love
do
to.
that.
I would just, I'm personally, I'm dying to see like what happened to this dude over 30 days. Like that's next level.
Yeah,
Like,
I have his I've got multiple pictures I can send you. Both of his before and current picture, and then even his before 30-day fast and after 30-day fast. But this is not a huge guy. He started off at I want to say 225 for his 30-day fast, and he got down like mid 190s. Like,
Mm.
he's not an obese guy where you think 30-day fast, like you have to have a whole lot of fat to lose. And if you're single digit body fat, I mean, you should never be fasting that long. I don't even know if anyone should be fasting that long anyway, besides like maybe Jesus and people in the Bible, you know,
Right,
that
yeah.
do it. But he did it, and he didn't complain about it. It's another big thing. It'd be very easy to not only do a 30-day fast, but then complain about it every day. Like, guys, I'm only halfway done. Oh, why am I even? Didn't hear a peep out of him. He was just, yep, day 15, halfway there. Keep you guys posted, crushing. Like, having guys like that in your life really just hold you to a certain standard that you don't get elsewhere. And that's what I really love about being part of these men's communities.
That is obscene. Like, absolutely. Like, first of all, I'm fascinated by what happened to him physically, but I'm really fascinated by someone's mindset to be able to go that long. Like that's totally next level. Like, wow. Um, you said you've helped over 1,500 clients over the years.
Yeah.
And I know when you first came on the show a couple of years ago, you had known like an approximate number of the amount of pounds people have lost in your program. Do you by any chance know that updated number, or can you guesstimate it?
We're north of 50,000. I have started working with guys. So the Shed Fat Fast program's always been if you have 25 to 50 pounds of fat to lose, like there's our sweet spot. More recently in 2024, it hit me that guys like Lionheart, who went through the program and lost the 50 pounds, but they still didn't have their physique dialed in where they wanted it to be. They didn't have another resource for them. And I personally got into fitness coaching. Like, I'm a physique competitor. I know what it's like to brush your teeth in the morning and like the way you look and feel like you can go attack the day because you don't feel like a second rate version of yourself. You know, it's a confidence booster. That's what I'm passionate about. I somehow got into the heavier guys, which love working with them too because it's a stepping stone. But more recently, I've been either working with guys that completed the 90-day Shed Fat Fast program and lost the weight, but they wanted to build more muscle and tighten up specific areas, and also guys that didn't have 25 pounds to lose in the first place that want to use the intermittent fasting or even the prolonged fast to build muscle while losing that last little bit of belly fat. So that's what I've been doing this year, and I've really been liking it. I don't know, I kind of forgot your question.
No, that's okay. I actually, what I would love for you to do is talk about like, what is the biggest differences between the two programs? I know you said the first one's for guys who want to lose 25 to 50 pounds of fat, which I do have a question about that. Talk to me about like, how do you self-identify as someone who wants to lose 25 to 50 pounds of fat versus someone who just self-identifies as like, I would just like to lose 50 pounds, like, or are they one and the same?
They're not one and the same. And that's another thing is, to me, fitness has always been important to me, but not like I just want to be light and so I can avoid health issues, even though that is, of course, a huge part of it. Some guys, they've never lifted a weight in their life. They've never been in a good gym routine. As a matter of fact, maybe they got shoved into a locker in high school by a guy that did go to the gym, and now they just associate anything that has to do with going to the gym or exercise as like Satan himself. For those guys,
Yeah.
they got on the blood pressure medications. They can't get off the couch without feeling like a pain in their knee or back, or that someone needs to give them a boost up, or they walk up the stairs and they feel out of breath, and they feel like they have a 40 or 50 pound weight vest on and they want to get it off. More than happy to help those guys. That is going to come down to the diet aspect and the fasting. So for those guys, if they want to get it done in 90 days, aggressive, prolonged fasting, kind of like what you were talking about with the 72s, the 48s, the one meal a day. If you want to lose fat and build muscle or keep the muscle you have, we're going to do that exact same routine, but we're going to make sure your hormones are optimized, you're getting enough protein, you're doing an effective weightlifting routine that's not going to take away from the family time or building your business or your career or whatever. That's the biggest principle there is we're going to have an effective weightlifting program that bolts onto the fasting protocol. That's going to ensure that you're losing fat and not just weight. And then you have that physique. And then the difference between that and then a guy that has like 10 or 15 pounds of just stubborn belly fat they want to lose, we can throw in like a weekly 48 or a long fast here and there, but we don't have to do that. We could do it with a much less intense fasting protocol. Instead of, dialing that fasting knob up to a 9 or 10, we can have it at like a 3 or 4. Make sure that you're making good food choices, make sure that you're hitting your workouts, and then depending on how quickly you want to get as lean as you want, and then we can reverse diet you or lean bulk you from there, we can talk about doing the longer fasts.
Very good. Okay. And then let's talk about protein for a second too. Protein, I think obviously when you're building muscle, you need to have, I would say a minimum like 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Is that pretty accurate?
I always tell guys shoot for 120 grams. I'm very familiar with the 1 gram per pound of lean body weight, but in my experience, on days that you're not doing a longer fast, if you can hit 120, you're pretty golden.
You're doing pretty good. Okay. So, do you recommend like when guys are doing like the fasting, right? Do you recommend them try to get, and if they're OMADing, which is 1 meal a day, are they getting all 120 grams into that one meal?
So what I found works really good is a lot of times, and you were talking about this a little bit earlier, funny enough, you'll have your 1 meal a day, you'll have dinner. Let's just say for simplicity's sake, I had steak and Brussels sprouts and a potato for dinner, and there's plenty of leftovers. I'm gonna eat as much steak and Brussels sprouts and potatoes as I want, but I'm gonna get full. And whether it's 30 minutes later or an hour later, I'm going to feel that feeling of like, I could definitely nibble on something, but I don't want any of that leftover steak or Brussels sprouts or potatoes. Like, that's not what I want. I want something sweet. That's why so many guys get into the pantry and they eat like either the chips or the kids cereal, or they get into the freezer and get into the Ben and Jerry's because like, no, I'm not hungry, but I have that sweet tooth. What I found works really, really well for myself and a lot of my clients is because, as you know, you can't really just get rid of a habit, you got to switch it out with something, is making a high quality protein shake, maybe blending some berries in there or some bananas and peanut butter or PB2 and making it like sweet and good just to sip on for the rest of the night. And that not only takes care of that oral fixation, but it takes care of that sweet tooth. It continues to fill you up. It sets you up for success because you're getting a lot of protein in. And then you don't wake up in the morning like, I did it again. I did really good until 8:30 last night, and then I just totally screwed the pooch and flushed it all down the toilet. You're like, oh no, I got a good routine. I have a healthy dinner with my family. And then as we're getting the kids ready for bed or we're watching football or we're winding down, I have a protein shake that I really enjoy. Kind of like that ice cream you made for us when we came to your kitchen, the protein ice cream. That'd be a solid play right there.
A lot of like that's what's actually made 75 hard so easy, to be honest. So like what Joel's talking about, guys, is so for my birthday, I got a Ninja Creamy, which if you've seen those things, it's like homemade ice cream, but it's also like you can do smoothie bowls out of it. You can do all kinds of things with it. But like one of the coolest things that I've gotten from it, and I've followed a few accounts on Instagram that specialize in making high protein ice creams with this Ninja Creamy. And I will tell you, there are so many different amazing recipes. Like I'll throw in chocolate Fairlife with a couple scoops of Formula One salted peanut butter, and it literally tastes like chocolate covered peanut butter. And then you freeze that for 24 hours. You stick it in the creamy, you blend it up, and it is literally delicious, amazing ice cream. And for a pint of it, it's about 65 grams of protein right there for a pint.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's like a cheat code, man. And you even
it's a
said when
cheat
we
code.
went down there, one of your buddies was giving you a hard time, like, no, it's gotta suck.
Yeah,
It's
it's got
like
to
the
suck.
worst mentality. That's how you get these guys, and I've been here myself, where you adhere to a restrictive, terrible program for 12 weeks, and then as soon as it's done, it's like, oh, finally, it's over. I get to eat everything I've been missing out on. That's not how you get long-term results. You
I
dial in
agree.
something that you actually like, that you can stick to, that's enjoyable for you, and that moves the needle forward, and that is the cheat code.
And there are so many things right now that you can do for that cheat code. I mean, it is remarkable. Like your choices for high protein sweet treats, like there's never been a better time. Like all you got to do is have access to the internet and you can find a recipe, whether it's a Ninja Creamy or a smoothie bowl or like a protein like chocolate mousse. Like it's out of bounds. Like one of the best things that I've found that I've made, take one Fairlife chocolate, pour it in. Then you take a scoop of, like I said, Formula One salted peanut butter, protein powder. You blend that up, and then you take Quest Reese's peanut butter cups that they make, and then you break them up and you put that in there too. You've just made yourself a high protein Reese's peanut butter cup, chunky concrete that is so freaking delicious. You don't even have to go down the street to your frozen custard joint anymore. Like it's just that good. But yeah, I think that's I honestly think, man, like if you're doing those things, if you're plugging and playing like those delicious cheat codes that actually result in better results for you, like I said, I'm doing 75 hard and I'm extending it another 25 days. Like I don't see much of a point in eating a bunch of stuff that I've been restricting because I haven't really been restricting like things that I would really want anyway, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. And
Yeah.
that was, I think that's a mistake some guys made when they did the Shed Fat Fast program for the first time, is they're like, man, I can still have chicken wings and pizza and burgers and watch the game and have a couple beers as long as I throw in a 72 here and a 48 there. When ultimately they didn't address one of the problems they have. They found a cheat code, they found a workaround, which is great. It's a nice little hack. But what we really focus on now, especially, is the other side of that coin, which is when you are refeeding, to eat good, high quality food. Big fan of the 80-20 Pareto principle. 80%, if you can grow it or kill it, meat, potatoes, fruit, vegetables, rice, um, nuts, all of those things. Keep that in the 80%. But I told a client earlier, he has triplet daughters. I go, if your daughters all made you brownies, and they're like, hey, daddy, me and mom and the girls made you brownies. Here, have one. Like, it would break my heart to have him be like, oh, sorry, I can't. Like, dude, your daughters just made you brownies. Work that into the 20%. If you're dialing in the fasting, you're eating 80% high quality food, you're hitting the gym 3 or 4 times a week, you can have a brownie here and enjoy life. Take the kids out for ice cream after a soccer game or have pizza and a movie night. It's not going to kill you. It's the 80% that just needs to be dialed in. And you can't be like, oh, I had one piece of pizza, so I'm going to flush the whole week down the drain. I'm like, no, I had a piece of pizza to celebrate the week with my family. And then I know I got to get right back into my actual lifestyle goals. And this is the way I operate.
I think that's one thing I really enjoy about the program as well is that, it's not like if you have, if you have an evening that you're celebrating something and you're like, exactly what you're saying. You're like, I'm going to go out to dinner and have pizza with my kids. And I'm not going to be the one to say, I'm not having pizza. Like I'll do a few slices, but you time these things in relation to like, if I knew that I was going to be eating bad, I'd probably time that on a day that I know I'd be fasting the next day,
Yeah.
just to dial that in a little bit. I do want to ask you one question that's come up for me a lot over the past couple of years of like, well, what do you do when it's dinner time and your family sits down and you're not eating? Like, and I'll tell you, the way that I have done this is that those nights are very minimal because I'll schedule it on a night that we have some sort of kid activity, and no one even misses or cares that I'm not eating, right? Because like tonight we have football practice till 7:30, and I always tell myself, if on fasting days, as long as I've made it to 7 p.m., I'm not, I'm good. I'm not going to eat
Same.
after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
The
like I don't.
promised land.
It is the promised land. I think actually you were the one that taught me that, because I'm like, if I can make it to 7, I'm good, because I'm not going to eat 3 hours before I go to bed because I just don't feel good doing that. Um, but I've noticed, like, well, we've got practice till 7:30 tonight, so that's the easy button. Like, I just come home and we'll get home probably about 8, and no one's going to be expecting me to eat a full blown meal at 8 o'clock at night. In fact, my family would probably be like, "Why are you eating so much? It's 8 o'clock at night." So is being able to schedule these things, I think, is important. But I have had to have, a couple of times where we've sat down as a family and I'm not eating, and that's fine. I'll just have like a seltzer water or something like that, just something that has no calories. And the kids will ask me, they're like, why you're not eating? And I'll just be very frank and honest with them and be like, I'm fasting today. And it's brought up a lot of conversations at my dinner table. My kids are like, should I be doing that? I'm like, no, you don't need to do that yet. I was like, I just do this because I feel good when I do it. And I explained to them some of the health benefits of like brain function and that kind of thing. And I've even used the same example of the living room. I was like, it's kind of like
Nice.
that. And I was like, this is just something I do like once a week or once every other week. And I just sort of like, it's kind of like spring cleaning of my digestive system. And the kids are like, oh, okay. And they just go about their business, keep eating dinner. So it's no big deal to them.
Yeah, in a perfect world, you're not missing very many, if any, dinners with your family. And my goal is if you have 50 pounds to lose, then you might have to forego a couple. Then you might have to have the uncomfortable conversation of, daddy let his foot off the gas and got a little bit comfortable and ate some less than ideal things over the last couple of years, and now he's trying to fix it. But the maintenance mode really isn't that. I personally like to do one 48-hour fast once a week, and I just so happen to have our group coaching call scheduled for Monday nights. So no one's the wiser. Dad's downstairs on his group coaching call. All right, 2 group coaching calls. Fast till Tuesday night, dinner with the family Wednesday, dinner with the family Thursday, dinner with the family Friday. And then weekends is, again, I'm trying to make good choices, but I'm eating with the family all weekend just in time for that 48 yet again. So that is the thing, is it's not a cookie cutter one size fits all formula. We have a formula that works, but every client is going to be that X variable, and we need to know specifically what goals they're working on. Do they go to the gym? Do they, what's their schedule look like? So on and so forth. So we can tailor that in, and then we can refine and tweak from there. But
I
you're
like that.
100% right. I don't want people to like be fasting through Thanksgiving and just watching their family have a great time, and they're like, "Oh, I can't. I'm doing a 90-day program." That's not the point of like an actual lifestyle change by any means. Let me share something cool though that Kennedy said, because I can see the slippery slope. If like your kids think you have an eating disorder or something. Last week, Kennedy goes, "Are you fasting?" And I was like, "Yeah, baby, I am." And she goes, "You know what? I'm gonna fast from candy today." And I was like, "Wow, man,
Okay.
that
Look at
that was
that.
big." Or if
Yeah.
she said, "I'm gonna fast too," I'd have been like, "Baby, dude, you're not. Like, you need to eat. You're growing. Like, that's not what this is." But she just saw it. She saw me abstaining. She's like, "You know what? I'm gonna fast from candy today." I was like, "My girl, good for you."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of those mental toughness levers right there. Like, fasting doesn't have to be completely from eating, but like you inspired your daughter to just abstain and use mental toughness to not eat candy, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is a great idea to do that. Um, as far as like, I want to ask you one final question, and that's something to do with like the current season that we're in. I hate the last 3 months of the year. Hate it. And I'll tell you why. You and I both live in the Midwest. I love being outside. I love the sunlight. I love warm weather. Like, my body feels great and I love to move. And when it's cold, I don't want to do those things. And everyone and their brother, in the last quarter of every year, this is where we actually start to put the biggest deposits in our weight. like at the holiday weight. I can't remember what the stats are, but like the amount of weight the average American gains between Thanksgiving and New Year's is like obscene. So personally, I think that this show, interviewing you again, is really, really timely because like I look at like, and I've been doing this now, this will be the third Thanksgiving. Like I'll fast up until Thanksgiving. Usually I do like a 48. I'll eat and then I'll do, and let's just say I might eat something. I'll do this if I eat like big, right? And I'll usually maybe fast for like I'll just do like a rolling. Like I'll be like I'll do either do another 24 hours or a 36. And it always ends up working out great because I don't feel like I'm truly satisfying or sacrificing anything in my meals. Like with because that's a big family gathering. Like these are big family gathering months. We've got Halloween, we've got Thanksgiving, we've got Christmas and New Year's, and lots of Christmas parties, lots of holiday parties. People are eating and drinking. But I think the cool thing about this regimen is like you can still indulge a little bit, right? You can still have fun, you can still partake, but you can schedule in like these more aggressive fasts around those types of meals and occasions and not have to pay the price of completely letting yourself get out of shape. That's one biggest advantage I've seen with this program in the months that we're knocking the door on right now. But I'm curious, like, what have you seen over the years with your clients? Like how they leverage this, kind of silly season?
Well, one of the things you talked about on one of our previous shows was you had a bad 6 weeks, I believe it was. You got injured, diet went to trash for 6 weeks, and then you got a hold of Tim and myself, and we're like, all right, just get back on it. And 6 weeks later, you were right back to where you wanted to be, like lean and strong as ever. That's the difference between fasting and pretty much trying to like run off the fat or counting calories or just cleaning up your diet or cutting the carbs. All these other options are if you're bad for one day, it's going to take you 4 or 5 days to get back to where you were. If you're bad for a month, it's going to take you 4 or 5 months to get back to where you were. Whereas if you're able to fight fire with fire and you say, it's never just Thanksgiving because there's always leftovers. Say you have Thanksgiving and then leftovers for 2 days when you're eating all the pumpkin pie and everything else. Instead of having a bad 3 days and then it taking you 15 days to get back to where you started, you rip out a 72-hour fast either in anticipation of before the 3 days or after, or you just do a 36 on either end and your money. So you're actually able to have a chance as opposed to always trying to play catch up and chase your tail with these slower, more like tedious diets. So I think you're spot on. Work in the fasting when it makes sense, when the family's out of town, when you have football or dance class or cheerleading or coaching calls. And then when you're with the family, huddled around eating good food, that's not the time to be fasting.
I agree. I agree, man. And just so guys can connect with you, what is the best way for them to do that? And then obviously they already know like, okay, well, if I have 25 to 50 pounds to lose, I go into the shed fat fast program. And then if they don't, if they want more maintenance or they just want to elevate, maybe their tweak their current level of fitness, they go into the other program. Is that correct?
Yeah, and to figure that out, I would have them hop on a call with me. I'm not going to pawn you off to some sales guy or someone else. It'll be you and I connecting one on one. Been doing this a long time, and especially Larry, the guys that follow you, we have a lot in common with. They're here to get better, and they want to take things to the next level without complicating things. So you and I can jump on a call, whether it's 10 pounds, whether it's 100 pounds. We'll figure out a plan that makes sense for you. If you feel like you could benefit from some added accountability and community, we can walk you through that. And anyone who signs up with the link that we'll put in the show notes here with Larry's blessing, I said I was just going to give a 25% off to, just to give you a kick in the butt to start before the new year.
There you go, guys. Well, hey, we'll have the links in the show notes for you. Not to worry. Go to thedadedge.com/Friday 178 for this show. Again, thedadedge.com/Friday 178 for this show. And what else to share with you guys is I have no financial interest whatsoever of whether or not you work with Joel. I know there's a lot of influencers out there, a lot of podcasts, they make affiliate relationships and that kind of thing. And we're both incentivized to push you into a program. Well, guess what? This one's not like that. I have no affiliate agreement with Joel for this. This is just literally, we want to give you guys another tool in your toolkit to be healthier at the end of 2024. So if you decide to work with Joel because of what you heard today, awesome. You're in really good hands. I've been working with Joel. He's been one of my coaches through this of over the past 3 years. So like, especially over the past 90 days. And if you've been watching my results of since I started 75 hard, I mean, I still been doing my fasting through 75 hard. And I usually do like 148 a week, kind of like what Joel does, just to maintain, just to feel really, really good. It's been a game changer in my life, and like I said, it's been something that's raising 4 boys and being a business owner, not having to stop what I'm doing just because I need to eat every 3 hours, and still get all the results that you guys have seen me get over the past 3 years. Like it's legit, and take it from somebody who got their degree in this stuff, who is taught that this is not the way to do it. It'll actually have the opposite approach. I'm very pleasantly surprised. And here's the funny thing too, Joel. I'm like, okay, this is year 3. Clearly this can't work anymore. My body will get used to it. And here I am. I'm like, I can't believe this is still working. It must be. And the way I tack it up is it must be the way the body really optimally works, period. Because like all the other stuff, it seems like the body really gets used to. Right. But this one, I don't know. It's been fantastic. So thanks for helping me through it. And thanks for helping me get in the best shape of my life.
Man, you stand out like a sore thumb too. I got to hang out with you 2 days. We go to restaurants. We're around other guys. You got the freaking bicep vein in both biceps. You got the form-fitting shirt. You look like an athlete. And you're not 50 yet, are you? You're pushing 50.
I'll be 50 next July.
Pushing 50, man. I would guess late 30s. You're leading the way, man. I'm happy to follow.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, you got to have good people in your life like you. You've been that person for me. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that. Here's the other thing too, just so you guys know, like you guys know, I got hurt last year. I did gain like probably 15, 20 pounds ish. I got up to about 190, and normally I hover about 170, 175. And I just kind of gave up, to be honest, because I was in a really dark place. And Joel's right. I mean, I reached back out to him and I'm like, hey, and here's the thing too, is like you feel like you're ashamed. Like look at how much I've let myself go. And what I'll tell you guys about Joel is he does meet you where you're at. Like I remember reaching out to him over text, be like, dude, I'm so depressed. Here's a selfie. I don't even know what to do with myself right now. I'm so ashamed. Like I just feel like crap. I've literally have let myself completely go. And you were compassionate. You were empathetic. You met me where I was at. Like I was sort of expecting like what guys do. Like, dude, what the hell happened to you? There was none of that. Like, hey man, we got you. All right, let's start going. Like when we doing the first fast, and you would follow up with me. Hey man, where's my progress pick? Hey man, how many pull-ups are we up to? Because that was a goal I was wanting to do too. And you met me where I was at, and you just coached me, helped me. Wouldn't be here, rehabbed, and if it wasn't for you. So thank you.
Very welcome, Larry. You've done more for me than I can ever even state here. So, right back at you, my friend. And I just want to say that happens to everyone. When I see a fitness influencer and they're like, no, you got to be hard, put the cookies down and suck it up. It's like, do you have kids? Like, do you have a life, or are you just like a fitness guy? Because it's one thing to know what works, and life can happen. Stress is a real thing. Obligations are a real thing. With politics and social media and this and that, is easy to get into a mental state where you're like, man, I know what I want to do, but I'm just having trouble getting out of bed early anymore. Or I'm having trouble getting to the gym when I know I need to get to. That really is where you do such a good job at recommending surrounding yourself with a community to keep that momentum going, even when you don't feel like it.
So true, man, because you hit those days if you're in a rut, like you don't even recognize the reflection in the mirror sometimes, but like getting people to help you lead the way back to that has been gold. Like I said, and like I said, guys, Joel's been one of those guys in my corner. So you guys will find the links to work with Joel. Like I said, guys, head on over to the dadedge.com/Friday 178 for the show. Again, the dadedge.com/Friday 178 for the show. You'll see a link to go schedule a call with Joel to to connect with him. And I highly encourage you guys to do that over this holiday season. You won't regret it. So Joel, thanks again for coming on, man. This was awesome. Thanks for all you do for me, and thanks for supporting me and helping me too.
Anytime. Thanks, Larry.
You bet, brother.